So Final Destination for me is an absolute solid horror movie, and for me the first one is fantastic, thrilling, suspenseful, all what you would love in a horror movie, and some of the deaths are crazily good and horrific. Saying that though, if we're being honest, they're not as horrific as this. Yeah, the Saw traps are pretty fucking brutal. If you ain't seen the Saw movies, fucking hell, they are brutal. I think the idea of the Final Destination movies, the template of it, is fantastic. However, what I have a problem with is when they did it in the first film, it was fantastic, unique and brilliant. Of the idea that somebody could predict an event that's going to happen, a disaster, and then be able to save so many people. However, then they think they've cheated death almost, and everybody's cheating. Oh, like, thanks for saving my life, or whatever, even though they didn't believe him, thought he was crazy. But then they were getting killed off one by one by death, seemingly those that should have died dying the order that they should have died, basically, in the weird and wacky accidents that seem to happen and play out, and they can't escape death. And that for me is a perfect template that worked in this movie. However, the problem I have, it didn't really work to continue. The second one did, because they sort of mixed that one up a little bit, where you had somebody from the first film come in and seemingly work it around. But from like, I think the third one I enjoy, and same with the fourth one I enjoy, simply for the deaths and whatever. But the main template seems to be overused by that point. I think the story though in this one of Alex's version predicting a plane crash after it was going to take off, and seeing it all play out, what he was doing, what his friends were doing, and then seeing the plane blow up and seeing this person died and that person, then all leading to his death, and then him snapping out of that vision back on the plane. These little things happen and he's now like, fuck it, I'm getting off this plane, and helps to save several of his friends. And then what happens is then his friends are like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you crazy? We need to be going to France, blah blah blah. And I think that was brilliant, as showing, like, at first, what is this guy on about? And then seeing the plane crash and then their reaction to him, like, this guy's fucking mental, but I'm glad he's just saved my life. And it's hard to know how they should react, because they've just seen a lot of their friends die, but they've lived, which is bonkers in a way. And then at first they just feel like, wow, we were lucky, we got out, fair enough, thanks Alex, whatever. But then when they're all dying, like, one by one, it's great to see Alex then going, oh my God, we haven't cheated death. Death is now like chasing us down, but really one by one, who should have died in what order. And that's what's unique and brilliant about this first Final Destination movie. And as well, that Alex can see snippets of how somebody might die afterwards is brilliant. Like, it could be something spills or something happens, and then he goes, oh my God, that's the next person, I'm going to have to go save them. Then goes on like a whole thing of trying to save people. And for certain ones, let's admit, he was a bit too late. And I think that's what's so fantastic about this movie, because then he's trying to save everybody and you can't save everybody. And it's clear to see that you take one eye off the ball, somebody dies in such a crazy accidental manner. And that is the brilliance of Final Destination, that you can't turn your back on it, and one little object falling on the floor is going to do a domino effect and cause this and cause that and cause that, and then eventually your house is on fire and the rest of it. And that is for me just a creative part of this horror movie franchise. The ending was also fantastic, because it felt as if the end of the movie had come and 3 people remained alive and they'd all managed to save each other and defeat death by the looks of things. However, that weren't the fucking case, let's be honest, as the end of Final Destination was fantastic and he was sure that he was going to loop back around again, and rightly so. And his friends was like, no, we've survived, we've done it now, whatever. And that's where a sign near enough wipes Alex out, until Carter steps in front and pushes him out the way of the sign, but then his head gets wiped off, and we then know that the cycle is not over. And that for me was a great end to end on of Carter being wiped off, because then that showed that the cycle was not over and it's time for the next film to see how these go on in the next film. However, it was a bit of a shame how Alex didn't come back in the second film. They just sort of killed him off in between 1 and 2. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss a thing this week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favour by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarise, this movie then for me is a 7.8 out of 10 and a great film. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below, what your thoughts are of Final Destination 1. Is it good, bad, terrible, amazing? Let us know all that jazz down those comments down below. And if you haven't yet seen our Candyman movie review, check that out right now.